In this video, we're going to begin by taking a look at what I would call light manufacturing done through assembly orders. So we're going to start by taking a look at the item or items. And as you can see, there's a column here that says assembly BOM. I'm going to sort these descending. And these items that have a yes here mean that they do have assembly BOMs for them. And the two that we're looking at on the top of this are the two that we created the demand forecast for. So I want to take a look at the first one of these. And if we scroll down to the replenishment area, you'll see that these are replenished by an assembly order. And they are set to be assembled to stock. The choices here are assembled to stock or assembled to order. And that they do have an assembly BOM. And if I click on this, this opens up the BOM for me. And I can see that these are the items that go into this. The thing that you want to take a look at here is if I actually look at the BOM structure, this guest selection is actually a subassembly, and it's made up of these two items in addition to just being shown on the first one. So when we look on the first view here, we just see guest selection, but we don't see the items that make it up. And since it is a sub-assembly, we can see that by picking Show the BOM. And the items that actually have their own assembly BOMs are highlighted here. So, and they're also indented. So this item is made up of these items in this resource. It's made up of this item and this resource. But if you notice, these two items are actually indented underneath this 1953W because these items make up this subassembly. So I'm going to close this view and go back to the item card. And the other thing we want to look at here is that under the planning area, this item is set up for lot. And that's as opposed to fixed quantity, max quantity, things of that type. When an item is set for lot to lot, it looks for demand. So it would find items that are on a sales order. It would find items that are on a demand forecast. So this is basically set up to be used in our demand forecast. So I'll close this item card and then we'll take a look at the other item that we had on our demand forecast. And this item it's also set up to be replenished by an assembly order. It's assembled to stock. And this has a simpler assembly BOM. There's just two items and some labor to put this together. If we take a look at the BOM itself, we can see that there's really only one item that has BOM material under it. And so it has these two items and it has one resource of Catherine for 1 hour to put it together. So simpler BOM in terms of the material that's going to go into this. And this one, if we look at the planning tab, is also set to lot for lot, which means it's going to see any kind of demand that's out here when we run our planning worksheet. So let's take a look at how the planning worksheet really works for this in order for us to be able to produce manufacturing orders using our demand forecast. So this is what's called a planning worksheet, and I can prepare the planning worksheet by calculating a regenerative plan here. So I can do MPS and or MRP at the same time. MRP is the materials required to produce the higher level items. I just want to produce the higher level ones at this moment. So I'm just going to do the planning schedule. And I could set a date range. I'm going to do 2/1 through 12/31 of the year 2021 here. I'm going to tell it to use a demand forecast. And so it's going to use this demand forecast that we created earlier in order to produce a manufacturing schedule for us. So I'm going to click OK. Takes a moment or two and it brings these in. This is an MPS order, so it's a scheduled order. And here's my part number 1969W, and it's creating an order in February, March, April, May, June, all the way up through December. Then it starts with the other item, and does the same thing and does planning up through 12/1 of 2021, which is what we had in our demand forecast. These are assembly orders. These are the quantities that were in the demand forecast that we created. And so this is actually all ready to plan these assembly orders for us. So I'm going to leave the planning worksheet here for just one moment. And what I'm going to do is go to assembly orders. So let me just search for it. I'm going to look for assembly orders. And as you can see in the list view, there are no assembly orders out here. So this is this will show us that when we create these from the planning worksheet, this list view will be populated for us. So I'll go back to my planning worksheet, and my planning worksheet is populated here and ready to go. There's a check mark here on all of these items, on all of these orders, that says carry out or accept action message. So in order to complete this and make this work, all I really have to do is to pick process, carry out action message, and it will ask me a couple of questions here. First of all, I'm going to make these from assembly orders. And that should be it. I'm going to just hit OK here. And this will go out and create 22 different assembly orders for me. The worksheet is now cleared. And if I search for assembly orders, and I look at my list view out here now, I now have my 22 individual assembly orders set up to begin on February, March, April, so on and so forth, for these part numbers. This is the 1969W and then the 1965W. If we open one of these orders up, we'll see that this is to produce a quantity of 8 items. It lists all of my bill of materials, all of my assembly BOM information, how many of these that it's going to take in order to manufacture these. And then I can very easily, once the assembly is done, I can actually output these. So I'm going to exit out of this particular screen, and what I want to do is go back to the item page for a moment, this list view. I'm going to filter these descending on the assembly BOM, and these are the 2 items that we have assembly orders for. What I want you to notice is that we have 0 quantity on hand for either one of these items. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go process one of the assembly BOMs. So we'll escape out of here and we'll go back to our assembly BOMs. And I'm going to pick the 1965W in February here. I'm going to open this BOM up. And so we would actually go out and complete the manufacturing on this. So the first thing that I would normally do is I would print this order out. So I would go to print order, and we're going to just preview this on the screen. But this creates basically a production order for me. And so I can send this out to the floor for production. As I say, you're going to produce a 1965W conference bundle, and you're going to produce 9 of them. And the items that are involved here are the Antwerp conference table, a quantity of 1, and then these Sydney swivel chairs in green, and there are 8 per unit. So I'm going to use 9 and 72 of these. And then I have a resource of Catherine, who's going to be assembling these, and it's a quantity of 1 per item, so it's going to be 9 hours that we're putting on this. So when I pick them, I can, out on the shop floor, I can write in the quantity picked and the quantity consumed. So I've actually used these up now, built them into the kits, and I'm ready to actually finish this production order. So I'll close my assembly order report here. And basically what I want to do, for example, if I had assembled 4 of these, I could fill in the quantity here of 4 and then post this, and this would just output 4 of these. I'm going to leave this at 9. We're going to do the entire assembly order. So all I need to do now is to go up to posting, post. Do you want to post this order? I'm going to say yes. And this has completed our transaction. So if I go back to the items and I resort these descending, you'll now see that I have 9 of these in stock. So what it's done basically is it has increased my inventory of the conference bundle 2-8 and decreased all of the BOM components that were required to make this. This completes the cycle in what I would like to call light manufacturing. So we've actually taken a demand forecast. We have created assembly orders. We've then gone out and looked at the assembly orders, seen how the system uses assembly BOMs in order to create the items so that it knows what the components are. And then we've actually processed a planning worksheet from the demand forecast, and then looked at all of the assembly orders it created and then actually processed an assembly order. So we've walked through the entire light manufacturing process. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, remember to click below and subscribe for more.